In this series of videos, I'm walking you through some of the processes and approaches that I took in going from just an idea to launching an AI-powered product, and how I did that as an AI-enabled product manager. Now, one of the key things that I used was a Claude project. And if you've not used Claude projects, I'm just going to walk you through how I set that up. But I used this as my technical co-founder. And I've talked about it enough online that someone actually asked me the other day, oh, I see that you've partnered up with someone, you've got a technical co-founder. When actually what I meant was I was using Claude for all of that. So just as a bit of background, I am not a developer. 12 weeks ago, I'd never written a line of code before. And so as a founder that is non-technical, previously, I would have had to have gone found a technical co-founder to work with because I couldn't have brought my ideas to life. But part of my project of building out Kowalah was to see how far I could get as a non-technical founder. And a key part of that was this Claude project. So if you haven't used Claude before, if you've used ChatGPT, it's like that. It's set up by a number of the founders. Well, the founders of Anthropic who run Claude came from OpenAI. And so it's a chat interface. If you're on a paid account, then you get access to projects. And so a project is like this one here. So Kowalah is an AI agent that we're building that helps businesses to buy better. This project will act as my technical co-founder, helping me to design the front and back end of the application and guiding me through the process of launching our MVP. And a project itself becomes a wrapper for a set of conversations and knowledge that you provide to that project. Here I've provided some instructions. You are my technical co-founder, here to help me bring my business idea to life. You'll provide clear and pragmatic suggestions that will assist us in bringing a minimum viable product to market quickly. You are comfortable pushing back on any requests I make that don't make sense or would introduce unnecessary complexity to the design. As a non-technical founder, I'm the one building the application using no-code, low-code tools like Cursor and V0. So I need you to be my mentor as I learn Next.js, Tailwind, Python, and how to architect an LLM application. So you could almost imagine me saying that to an actual technical co-founder. I need your help. I don't know what I'm doing, and I want you to guide me, and I want you to push back on things that are not sensible for a minimum viable product. So then also within a Claude project, you can add in specific project knowledge. So they just launched this a week or so ago where you can link up to Google Docs. So here I'm linked up to my Google Docs where I've got a Kowalah app overview prompt. And this is quite a detailed prompt. It explains exactly who the ideal customer profile is, the value proposition for this app. It talks about the actual processes and features. It talks about some of the questions that users might ask within the app. It talks about how we're going to monetize it. And talks about some of the technology stack that we're going to be using. So some good basic overview of what this platform is going to do. Secondly, every so often, I'm downloading the schema from my Supabase database. So I've got one for the main structured database, and I've got one for the vector database, so that Claude understands exactly the architecture of our database and all of the relevant tables and columns in there. I've also uploaded my package.json file, which explains all of the different dependencies that I've got in my project. And then finally, I have created a file which has got the project file structure, so everything out of Next.js, or out of Cursor, I should say, which has got all of the different files and the structure there. Now, what this means is that every time I ask Claude a question, I don't have to provide all of that context. So if I was just going to say, can you summarize what Kowalah is going to do for our users, it knows that knowledge, it can go away and it's going to summarize that for us. And what this means, so based on the documentation provided, let me summarize the core value proposition Excellent. Here's the business model, so on. Great. Well, of course, I know that, so that doesn't really help me. Where this is valuable is that it can really help me to guide through the architectural and project management decisions that I'm trying to make. So I'll give you a couple of examples of previous conversations that I had. So one was just about how I integrate Stripe, which I'm using for billing, with Supabase, which I'm using as a database. And this would be a typical question that I've been asking. Can you help? I've got a function in Supabase to update some fields on the user subscription with information from our Stripe products table, but I get this error. And so then I'm just providing this error that's coming straight out of the system. And then providing details of our schema. And then Claude is able to help me specifically. This is where the issue is. What you need to do is to modify these null values. And it provides me with a SQL file to do that. And then, here we go. I can see the issue and so on. And then I'm asking here, yes, in Stripe's dashboard, I have to enter a value for the metadata key. So I had just typed the word null. Would you suggest I do it another way? So rather than typing null, you should either do this or do that. Now, this is just one specific technical conversation that I'm having. But the important thing is here, I'm non-technical, but I'm able to speak to someone, in this case, Claude, and have a technical conversation. And Claude is able to give me a technical solution back that I'm then able to drop straight into my project. It's exactly the kinds of conversations that I would want to be having with someone that was technical if I had them here. So that's kind of specific. I've got a problem, I've got a question, and I want to ask you. Another one, which I used a lot for, is actually getting sort of advice. And this is where, as that non-technical founder, asking for an advice and a direction from Claude. So in this example, what would you recommend as an approach for building an internal dashboard for me to monitor what is happening with the app? So users, chats, projects. Should we build something custom, or would you recommend we integrate with some kind of analytics platform? Well, based on the project scope and the tech stack that you're already using, so I haven't had to give it any of this context. Claude already knows because it's in our project. Let me help you think through the dashboard approach pragmatically. First, looking at your Supabase schema, you've already got lots of data about users, projects, chats, and so on. For an MVP, I would strongly recommend against building a custom dashboard initially, and here's why. As a non-technical founder learning multiple technologies, building a custom dashboard would add unnecessary complexity early on. You've already got several key integrations, Clark, Stripe, Supabase, that offer these analytics. And your focus should be on building core product features that deliver value to customers. So here's what I recommend. This, for me, I've had hundreds of these conversations. I've got an idea. What do you think about that? And Claude pushes back and says, no, I would not do that. Concentrate on your main objective, which is getting the project live. You've already got access to various tools that can help solve that problem. And that has really accelerated my project and helped me go from 0 to live in a very short period of time. So there we go. That is Claude Project. I should add, I have also created an exact replica of this as a custom GPT in ChatGPT, because as I was hammering Claude with so many questions over my weekends of development, you often hit thresholds, usage thresholds, and it would run out. And so then I would switch over to doing the same thing in ChatGPT. So if you've got ChatGPT, a paid license, then build a custom GPT there. Or if you've got a paid Claude license, definitely recommend having a play with a project.